leaning in a little bit to the human centricity and like the cultural aspects
Mm.
of this sort of transformation. A little bit about the 5 C's that we've spoken about before and how important those are.
So we've got communication. That starts with what's our organizational stance on generative AI. So my advice, if you're a leader of an organization, is if you haven't written that down, and if it's not known by your colleagues, just write something down along the lines of, we're interested, we're excited, we're investigating it, and we'll keep you posted. Just that to get going. Then you've got culture. So be thinking with your cultural toolkit about the things that you would do with other stuff. Like, so if you need an organization which is using Gen AI well, then there needs to be positive culture, there needs to be a learning mindset, there needs to be people giving each other rich feedback, there needs to be higher trust. So the second C is about culture. The third C is about capability. By that, what I mean is AI literacy and AI fluency. Everyone keeps talking about AI literacy. It's rare to find somebody who's defined it well, but we define literacy as basics. Do I understand what AI is? Real world application, am I using it for real stuff? Accountable use, am I using it responsibly? Innovation, once I've got through productivity and efficiency, am I now using it to solve new problems? And then the last bit is the navigation piece. So it's not like Excel where you just learn a trick and that's there forever. You need to stay open-minded, and that's a whole kind of social thing. So that's the literacy bit, and the fluency is how to talk to AI, which is different from literacy. Anyway, so that's the capability piece. I'll go for my number 4. The fifth one's, the jury's not in yet, but the fourth C is compassion. Anyone who's led any kind of change program, especially, like, so 10 years ago, I was helping organizations to implement D365. There was always an absence of compassion. You get a bone-crushing chief technology officer in who's done it before, they know what to do, and they kind of bash through and implement. That's not going to work, because in our research and in our immersions, we're coming up against these really gentle, nuanced human things like guilt. Using ChatGPT or Copilot's cheating. I don't want to do that. I want to do the hard work. Or I wrote this myself and it doesn't feel authentic. So those kind of like nuanced, sophisticated human things need compassion if you're going to lead the change. So I'm going to stop at 4 C's, so I don't want to overload. So we've got communication, culture, capability, and compassion. Those are enough for a leader to really get their head around things and start making the good stuff happen.
I think that's fantastic. Yeah, because maintain empathy, and I think that's core to that compassion. And we've got to really lean into some of these innately human skills, right?
Yeah.
Because AI is going to continue to do more of the technical, tasks and things like that. But to the sort of augmented intelligence is where, best of human thought and creativity and critical thinking and empathy, of course, and combine that with the increasingly powerful reasoning ability. I know you've been using ChatGPT o1, and
Oh yeah.
sounds like you've been pretty impressed with that. And but yeah, how do you take the best of humanity and the best of what ethical AI and responsible AI can do, and that's a really potent combination.
It's really potent, and as a full-on evangelist, my family have banned me from talking about it around the kitchen table. I have to remember that there are some people who've never even heard of Gen AI, fast forward, the sort of the problem statement I put in front of senior people is, in a year's time, you've got a junior manager called Sandra, and she's got 7 people in her team. 2 people have used Copilot and they've absolutely smashed their targets. 2 people haven't used Copilot, which you've given them at all because they're worried about it, and their performance is massively different. How is that manager going to compassionately manage performance in that scenario? If you don't know the answer, then you need a plan because it's coming. So, compassion needs to be a big part of it. So back to the communication, the culture, the capability, and the compassion. It's thinking about those real life examples that really help you to go, yeah, I can't just allow this to be organic.
Yeah,